And over 4,000 have turned up today, which is a good turnout considering it's a weekday and the weather is far from the best that we've ever seen in Antholz, a valley that usually has beautiful blue skies. But the atmosphere building as we have a look at the World Cup standings after 12 races. Rostovcев of Russia, he's had one or two good races this year and he's just kept it rolling along, finishing consistently in the top 5, and he heads the World Cup table for now, but he is absent from this week's races, and with only a 77-point lead over Рафаэль Пуаре, he may well find himself dropping down the order as a result of that. But he won't be too fussed. He's now switched his attention to the Olympic Games, as have so many of the top athletes, and he'll just be hoping that he survives that challenge from Рафаэль Пуаре. Björndalen, I mentioned, is already back in action. He was not racing last week in Ruhpolding. It's going to be interesting to see what sort of form he's on, how his mind is, and whether he's improved his shooting, because that has been his major problem so far this year after a tremendous start. Well, watch out for the Ukrainians, the Latvians, the Belarusians. This is the sort of time of year that they come to their best form, and they'll come as a team. It won't just be one individual. If one of them is good, you can almost guarantee that the whole team will be skiing better than they have done before. Well, we could also see a new winner here today. Who knows? There are one or two favourites, but if they should make mistakes, then there is a chance that we will see someone new taking the top honour today. Expected time for the 20 kilometres. Well, an hour would be good in these conditions and on these tracks. Pavel Rostovcев won in Pokluka, the first individual race of the season, with a time of 1 hour and 2 seconds. They were considerably quicker than that in Orsby with a time of 54.08, taking 6 minutes off that time set by Rostovcев. But the tracks, obviously, their profiles are different, and sometimes even the lengths vary, although it is stipulated that it should be exactly 20 kilometres. Well, the snow continuing to fall. It's not the heaviest snow we've ever seen, but it was fairly heavy last night. There's a good couple of inches of fresh stuff on top of the tracks, and that will slow the first runners, and a little bit of a dilemma as to which group is best. But most of the favourites once again choosing the first two groups. And just to explain, while we watch the early starters, Günther Beck out on the course. He's a multi-talented sportsman. He's top-class mountain biker. He's quite a handy kayaker as well. But biathlon is his chosen sport, and he's drawn start number 3. The Bulgarians, Krasimir Stoilkov, the Bulgarian men, nowhere near in the same class as the Bulgarian women, who've had a good season, and certainly the dark horses for a good result in a month's time. Very slow start from Stoilkov, maybe 20 kilometres, but you can't afford to lose that much time over the opening stages. Matthias Pokluka of Slovenia, who's really seen his best form come and go. He was in tremendous form back in '95, finished up in the top 40 of the World Cup. He's been on the podium on one occasion, but he hasn't tasted that sort of success for 4 or 5 seasons now, but he's still here, and many people wondering what keeps athletes on the circuit when things aren't going right. Well, maybe we can discuss that later on. It's fairly long affair, these individual events that use the time trial format. 30 seconds in between each of the starters, 104 on the start list, so it's 52 minutes before we even get all the runners onto the track, and the last starters will be setting off just minutes before the likes of Günther Beck finishes his 20-kilometre run. Ruslan Lysenko, now he's down in 63rd position in the World Cup. He showed good form at the beginning of last year and the year before that, but it hasn't been the same sort of season for Lysenko. But let's see, I have a feeling he's going to notch up a personal best today. Thomas Sikora of Poland looking nervous. Maybe he's building for a big run. The world champion over this discipline back in 1995, and he did it on these tracks here in Antholz. I'd be astounded if he manages to do that again today, but he's got that on the record book. No one can take it away from him. And 95, just like Matthias Pekluka, was Sikora's best year as well, finishing up in the top 15 of the World Cup, and everyone thought that he was a force to hang around for a few years, but he's faded somewhat and struggling to stay with the many youngsters that are coming up in this sport. Certainly the size of the clubs and the overall popularity of the sport being boosted with the last 5 or 6 years of full coverage of the World Cup programme. Gilles Marguet of France, tremendous relay he had in Ruhpolding just a week ago. Took the first leg for the French and had them up in 4th position. It was a very encouraging run when we thought that he was going to be the weakest link. It didn't turn out that way at all, and he deserves a good individual race as well. Gilles Marguet skiing much more fluently, and it's strange how when one of your team members, or 2 of the team members, the likes of Poiret and de Frasne, who've changed their skiing style over the years, Gilles Marguet has adopted it and going much better as a result. So still early days, and it won't be long before the first runners come in to shoot. And as you can see, there's not a breath of wind on the range at the moment. The umbrella's up because of the snow, which is a little damp, just above freezing. Oleg Vishenkov. Now the Belarusians fancy them to get someone in the top 10, maybe even 2 in the top 10 today. They'll enjoy the fact that their biggest rivals, the Russians, are away training. The Germans, as I've mentioned, their A-team are away. They've gone to Canada to prepare, and they've gone up to altitude somewhere, but we don't know where as yet. Imre Tagširer of Hungary. Now his aim is to get into the top 60 today and win himself a starting position in the pursuit event, which is due to start on Sunday. Both pursuits being run on Sunday, and the women's relay tomorrow, the men's relay on Saturday. That's the format that they've adopted this year. Slightly strange, and a big advantage in my eyes to those who don't race in the relay. They obviously don't stand to win any. Far away, Peter Moisey of New Zealand has just started his run and looking to get into the top 60 to qualify for the Olympics. It's not happened so far for Peter this year, the ex-triathlete, who's now lives obviously on New Zealand, lives in the South Island, just near Wanaka. Beautiful area, skiing up at the, I think it must be New Zealand's only cross-country resort, actually, at Warau, just opposite Cadrona. Superb facilities. And their winter now starting to draw to a close. I mentioned a couple of withdrawals earlier on, and a couple of significant ones as well. Wolfgang Rottmann, the individual world champion in the year 2000. He won that event. I must say it was a bit of a surprise, but Austria taking 1st and 2nd in that event in Holmenkollen. He has withdrawn. He's not feeling 100% today and not going to risk his health for the sake of one race. Carsten Heimann has also withdrawn. Their start numbers were 24-25. So if you're looking for them, they're amongst your favourites. Be warned, they are not here today. Well, there we are. Just told Carsten Hyman's not racing, and he appears. So he's obviously changed his mind and ignored the doctor's orders. So we'll see how he gets on. We may find out that he withdraws halfway through. But he was out practicing this morning, and a shake of the head indicating that he really wasn't feeling up to it. But maybe the competitive animal in him has got the better of him, and he's there. He's got his skis stamped. He's had his rifle checked, so I can't think of any other reason for doing that other than the fact that he's going to start. So Hyman is here, and he's perhaps the best German who hasn't been selected for the Olympic Games. He's been on the Europa Cup Tour, the European Cup Tour, the B League, you could call it, but still a very high standard indeed. Hello and welcome to Ruhpolding in the south of Germany, round 6 of the biathlon. It's the men's individual, the third individual race of the season. Only 4 to be run this year, with the one at the Olympics still to come, obviously. And it used to be the mainstay of the biathlon program, but it's been reduced, and largely because the new formats have come in and proved so popular. The likes of the Pursuit and also the mass start event, which is growing in popularity despite the fact that you can only have 30 entrants in that event. So away goes Hyman. Obviously not feeling too ill, although that was the reports we got just moments before the start of the race. So I'm not sure what was going on there, but he's on the tracks. He's looking fairly fresh, and he started more positively than the 23 starters in front of him. I say 23 because number 24, Wolfgang Rottmann, has withdrawn from the contest. So, although not the favourite, he's certainly in a group of skiers who have the potential to win here. The likes of Thomas Sikora, well, he's a former world champion, but I don't think he's going to win this one, but I've got him down as a possible. The likes of Frode Andresen, he doesn't prefer the individual. He's much better at the sprint events, but Frode Andresen showed good form in Ruhpolding last week, and if he can just hit 17 or 18 targets, then he could be the man to take the honours today. Egil Kjelland goes at number 45. He's becoming better and better as the seasons go on. And of the late starters, I guess we should watch out for Derkach of the Ukraine, who starts at 68. Wolfgang Perner, the Austrian, who's skiing so fast, starts at 74 and could keep this race alive. He's starting just 30 seconds behind Ulе-Éinar Bjåndalen. Hayatalahti in that last group as well for Finland, starting 77. Halvard Hannavold starts number 80. So here's Ulе-Einar's brother. Now he's one of the few that prefers the 20 kilometre. He gets better results in the 20 kilometre, and the reason for that is that he's a much better shot than he is skier. He's nowhere near as fast as Ule-Einar, but he's on his day as good as any other marksman in the game. And if he can clear 20 today, which is exactly what he needs to do, if he can clear 20, then a top 7, certainly top 10 result is possible. I don't think he's got the speed to win it nowadays, but an important race for Dag Bjåndalen. His best hope of racing at the Olympic Games is to get a place in the Norwegian relay team. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Norway have got to go all out to win that event, and they'll have to put their risky competitors in there, the likes of Andresen. They might, well, I think they'll certainly go for Egil Kjelland, who's getting better and better, as I mentioned. Halvard Hannavold will have to be in there. Ulе-Einar Bjåndalen will have to be in there. And then it's just down to their shooting. They ski fast enough to win it. They seldom shoot well enough to win it. Good start from Pekluka. Spoke too soon. Number 5 missing yet again. Just perhaps rushing that last one. The rhythm slightly broken. He was reduced the time between the 4th and 5th shot than he had settled for the first through to the 4th. And that minute has cost him dearly. A full minute, remember, added for each missed target. And he still finds himself 10 seconds in front, but it would have been a minute 10 and a good start. Mikhail Kochkin. He'll have a point to prove to the Russian selectors. He's not had a bad season, but he's in the same team as the likes of Rostovcев, Майгуров, Drachev, Chepikov, all the big names from biathlon for the last 2 or 3 seasons. And asking a little bit too much. He's young, he's got plenty of years in front of him, and Kochkin, I think, is going to be a name that we come across frequently in the future. Ruslan Lysenko, unusually working from left to right, and that's a good solid start from Lysenko. The Ukrainians and Belarusians, both teams to watch out for today, and he's got a 45-second lead. Gone clear. Pakluka skiing very fast indeed, but the mistake costing him. So Gilles Marguet, let's have a look at the time. The French seem to produce the same sort of results in a race. If one's shooting badly, the whole lot seem to shoot badly, and with Marguet being the first one, I think Jean-Pierre Aumac will be crossing his fingers and toes with this shoot, hoping it will set the tone for the day. Well, it really is depressing stuff, because 2 misses at this level with his ability on the skis, he knows that's cost him a chance of finishing in the top 10. It's probably cost him a chance of finishing in the top 20 today, and now he's got to raise his game. He's got to think positively, think that the next 15 targets are just going to fall like 9 pins, and then the effort is worthwhile. But if he's thinking in terms of, oh my goodness, I may miss another 2 on the standing and another 2 on the next prone, then he might as well pack his bags already. But not a good start for Marguet. He's left himself a lot of work to do, and he's got to clear his head, try and forget what's happened. Frode Andresen, as exciting as any of the biathletes on the tour. He skis like the wind. He shoots on rapid fire whenever he comes in to shoot in the standing position. They don't all go down. In fact, they seldom all go down. But Andresen, if he has, for him, a good shoot, which would be 17 out of 20 today, then he is capable of winning, because he is so much faster than the other skiers. Bjorndalen, of course, excepted from that little equation. Roshenkov throwing away an opportunity, and you wouldn't have expected someone of his caliber to make mistakes like that. Good long glide from Roshenkov. Looks as though the Russian skis are going well. Only the 3rd individual race of the season. Number 23 is Marian Vlaj of Romania, and he's skiing well. Already taken 30+ seconds out of Gribaskensko. That would be expected. Gribaskensko from Moldavia, not a nation renowned for their strength in this sport. The French, though, are. And here is the best of the French, Рафаэль Пуаре. So whether he's decided not to shave until he gets his next victory or not, or maybe just a late night, perhaps celebrating his wife's victory yesterday in the women's individual. And what a run it was. Frude Andrasen in tremendous form, 4 wins in the World Cup so far this year, 3 in a row after yesterday's win, and she set herself up with a good lead in the pursuit on Sunday, so she could make it 4 in a row, and all the time closing the gap between herself and the World Cup leader Magdalena Forsberg, although a huge margin still to be made up after Forsberg's 7 wins early on in the season. Carsten Heimann, the man that wasn't going to race but is racing, 17.9 off the pace, and well, he's the best skier in the first group, so we would have expected him to be up there time-wise, but Heimann maybe is a little bit under the weather. Erik van Leuven from the Netherlands, a man who works ridiculous hours throughout the summer months to enable him to take time off in the winter. You have to respect that sort of attitude. It's his love is being on the biathlon tour. Is this Norway's best hope? Egil Kjelland today, who's really came to notice at about the halfway stage, this stage last season, and he produced result after result. Bit of a tricky start to this year. The shooting hasn't been going that well for Kjelland, but he showed good form in Ruhpolding, and that is exactly what the coaches were after. They want to see him getting better from now on in, and a good race from Kjelland today will certainly seal his position in the Norwegian team. Konovalov. One of the Russians missing target number 5. But not Konovalov. He held just that fraction longer. He made sure, and they've all gone down. 13:04 the leading time at the moment, and we have a new leader, and the margin 17.9 seconds. That's a very useful start indeed. Matiasko in second still. None of the top seeds in the first group. Blag's time 12:34, so he's going to find himself 20 seconds off the pace at least, even if he does go 5 with 5. Just one quick, short, sharp breath in between each round, and Blag kept that rhythm going right the way through to the end of the shoot, and that's a useful start for the Romanian. Number 49, late on the starting blocks, none other than Alexei Aidarov, a man of his experience should know better. No, he hasn't got his ski sticks on. He's all sorts of problems for Aidarov. Having a look over at his coach on the left, perhaps apologising to him for making that mistake. But there's a lot to be done before the start of these races. Firstly, you have to get warmed up. You have to wax the skis, find the skis in the first place, because often someone else is out testing them. And get them waxed, get the clothing off, get your rifle tested, get the skis marked. And sounds easy, but when you're nervous, time seems to fly by. So an average start for Carsten Heimann. He won't be happy with that. He's a man who shoots better in the prone position and is usually reliant on clearing all 10 prone targets to give himself a little margin for error for maybe 1 or 2 of the standing. But 4 out of 5 not the best of starts. Brussis of Latvia, tall figure. Height not a particular advantage in the skiing phase. It's absolutely no advantage or disadvantage in the prone shooting. Obviously in the standing, any movement of the lower body is exaggerated by the time it gets up to the shoulder and the rifle. Frude Andrason, a tall man, he's not renowned for his accuracy in the standing position. We'll have a look and see how Brussis gets on when he comes round in another 11-12 minutes or so. 1:06 off the leaders with just one shot missed, so he's skiing at roughly the same pace. And having a look over at the big screen in the stadium, and that's giving him all the information he wants. Frude Andrason going round with Gilles Marguet of France on his tail. If Marguet can stay with him, that will be impressive, but he'll be paying a price because Andrason very much the quicker skier, and Marguet coming in for his standing shoot shortly. Now they go through 3.2, 8:45 the quickest time, 17 seconds inside Roshenkov's time, and that's over 3 kilometers. Multiply that by 7, and you start to understand just how quick he is. He's going to have at least 2 minutes advantage over Roshenkov by the end of the race, so he can afford to hit 2 less targets. But Roshenkov won't be the quickest man here. The likes of Poiret skiing very well. Bjorndalen, well, we don't know. He's been away from the Tour for some time, missed out on a lot of the races. And Ulе-Éinar Bjёrndalen, who starts just a little later on, in somewhat of a dilemma as to whether he competes just in the biathlon or whether he competes in the cross-country as well, because he's been offered a place in the Norwegian cross-country team and he's likely to get a place in the relay. I feel fairly sure he'll take that up. What an opportunity to get an Olympic gold. The Norwegian cross-country team certainly the favourites for that event, and he will take one of the freestyle legs, but he's also been offered a place in the 30-kilometre freestyle. And on the evidence we've seen this year, Ulе-Éinar Bjårdalen, the number 2 skater in the world, second only to Per Elofsson of Sweden. Oh, what a great start from Pakluka. Well, he didn't waste any time, but perhaps getting a little carried away with himself on that final shot. Good start from Mezotich. He's gone clear and he's pretty much up along with Konovalov, who leads at the moment. There's only going to be a couple of seconds between them, and a very encouraging start. 6.3 seconds inside. Austria take the lead for the first time, making up for the fact that Wolfgang Rottmann has withdrawn from today's contest. But the Austrians, also with the likes of Gredler, Perner and Suman, all three of those Austrians in the top 10 as far as ski speed goes. And when you're that fast, eventually you're going to come up with a good result. Certainly have the Austrians down as medal winners in the Olympic Games. I'm not sure they're going to take a gold. Here's a man who took silver in the Olympic sprint event behind his teammate Ulе-Éinar Bjårdalen. It's the prone that's bothered him all season so far. And so often the first one goes wide. So that's a slightly better start for Andersen. Oh. Why, oh why. It really is almost inexplicable as to why he has so much problem in the prone position. He recovers quicker than anyone. And he's having a look across and he finds himself 1:37 outside. So despite his skiing advantage, he's still a long way down. And Frode Andersen now is going to have to go clear. And so is this man, I feel, if he wants to win here today. Rossignol skis back in action. And he is not only one of the fastest skiers, but he's one of the best technicians. Very slight figure. Just around 70 kilos, even under 70 kilos. He's not a big man by any means. And it's incredible to see how much power he can generate. But so much of it is down to technique as opposed to strength. Roshenkov, who missed the last target on his first shoot. Nice relaxed face. Oh, fantastic stuff. Superb. Roshenkov making up for the missed target in the first one, and he is going to go ahead of Ukraine's Lysenko after the second shoot, and a very positive start, setting the target for those starting later. 30 seconds the advantage for Roshenkov. So Belarus, Ukraine and Poland, the leading three nations at the moment. And the snow getting deeper and deeper as it continues to fall here in Antholz. You certainly wouldn't have wanted to draw a late start number. I wonder whether Bjorndalen, Perner, Osbolt, Hayatolati and Hannevold are starting to regret requesting a position in the third group. And just to explain how the groupings work, in fact we'll do that in a moment, once we've seen how Рафаэль Пуаре gets on his first shoot. I'd be surprised if he were to miss targets. Only one disastrous race so far this year, and that was last week in Ruhpolding. Can't fault that. Excellent stuff. 12:21 on the clock. Mezotich's time is good of 12:40, but it's going to be made to look slow. It's going to be around 12:27. There it is, 12.3 seconds inside. And Рафаэль Пуаре, last year's World Cup winner, is back to that sort of form. Surely this man is heading for Olympic glory. Bad time from Gieland. But it is now. That's a shame. He's thrown away a good opportunity. Really can't afford those sort of mistakes at this level. And 13:28 looks pretty mediocre, really, when it could have been second place with just a 3-second gap between himself and Рафаэль Пуаре. What a shame. Norway will have their heads in their hands. It's so often the case. They ski better than anyone else, but seldom get the shooting right. Will this man be the man to do it today? Spent plenty of time training here, has Ulе-Éinar. It's one of his favourite resorts. His girlfriend, Natalie Santa, living just down the road, about 15 kilometres or so in Dobiako. And Varlov losing valuable seconds in the standing shoot. Hasn't settled. So a minute wasted with the missed target, another 10-15 seconds wasted with the break in rhythm in his shoot. And Konovalov, who had a very good position after the first shoot, is going to find himself still within reach of the top 3 places. But that pretty much puts him out of contention for a win. Mentioned the British A team absent from today's race. They've headed over to Calgary today, in fact, airborne as we speak, unable to follow today's race, but they're going to Calgary. They'll just spend a couple of days there shaking off the jet lag, and then they're going up to 1,500 meters to start their Olympic preparation. But that has given a number of others an opportunity to race here. 3 places reserved for the British team, according to their ranking in the Nations Cup last year. Jason Sklenar has made his way to the Olympics. Tom Clemens, who was left out of the team, starting number 56 today, and he has got to prove himself up against all the other B team members, and we'll try and trace his progress on the computer. It's harder and harder as the race goes on, as the computer gets slower and slower. There'll be a few unfamiliar German faces in today's race, and don't rule them out of top 3 places. Carsten Heimann has already made mistakes in the early stages, and he's not skiing particularly fast. .26.40, already outside Matiasko's time from Slovakia. Can he make up for it? Needs 5. Well, he knew it before he even let that one go. Carsten Heimann quick to react with his 5th target going wide, and that's another minute added, 28.22. So he goes from a possible top 3 place. He's going to come in just ahead of Günther Beck of Austria, and Heimann down in 9th place, but already 2 minutes 10 seconds behind the leaders. Now, we're talking about tall athletes and whether they have a problem with the standing position. This man perhaps can clear that one up for us. Well, maybe we have to give it an affirmative with that. 2 targets missed for Brisis, and that is the end of his hopes of producing his personal best for the season. Some of the German Women's Europa Cup team looking forward to their race tomorrow, assuming, of course, they qualified, which most of them did do. Now, this is a big moment for Ulе-Éinar Bjørndalen, in fact, Dag Bjørndalen, who's gone clear on the first shoot, which is what he would have expected, and shoots the targets in a similar, not identical, way to Magdalena Forsberg. And no explanation for it, but it's effective. So 10 out of 10 so far for Bjørndalen, and as you can see, he's already outside Matti Asko's time, but the fact that he's gone clear keeps him in contention, and he desperately needs to hit all 20 today. It doesn't happen so often in your career, but this man has done it on a number of occasions. He's only 11 seconds off the lead, and if he can stay clear through to the end of the day, then a top 5 is even possible, and the Norwegian selectors will not be able to ignore that. Good second shoot for Vollschlager. That's kept the German contingent of the crowd on their feet for a moment longer. They'll be disappointed by the fact that Fischer and Sendel, Frank Luck, Rico Gross all absent from today's race. As looks like Tom Clements of Great Britain going through, wearing number 56, just ahead now of Jorn Vollschlager, but a loop behind effectively. Daniel Mezotich settling for Austria on the far end of the range as we watch Mikhail Kochkin, who's gone clear and has a chance to take the lead here. He's well inside Matti Asko's time. One mistake will cost him. Oh, he was starting to shake on the 5th target. The oxygen debt starting to get to the body, but Kochkin holding his composure and clears all 5. He's another man clear. The top 3 all clear at the moment. Kochkin, Matti Asko, Bjørndalen, but the margin between 1st and 2nd, 28 seconds. That's a good run so far from Kochkin. '85th of the 105 skiers entered for today's race. It's Adrian Bernbacher of Germany, who's had a successful career already as a junior, and he is going to go some today to try and prove that he has the ability to become a member of the German A team. Here's a man who's made leaps and bounds this year. 17th in the World Cup last year. And with that sort of prone shoot, he is going to stay up in the top 15 of the World Cup rankings. 12:27, the quickest time set by his teammate, but this time de Frasny has got the better of Poiré. 3.6 seconds. It's not a massive margin, but have a look at his style, almost identical. If Poiré and de Frasny were to ski side by side, I think you'd have problems identifying which was which. Look how he keeps the hips forward when he's driving. And not a lot of sideways movement of the hips or the shoulders. Everything going in the direction of travel. Borovic is going to take the lead away from Pokluka of Slovenia at the 3rd shoot. 39.6 seconds the lead. Another clear shoot will set Borovic up for a personal best and give him a good start position for the pursuit event on Sunday. So the French will be delighted with the way things have gone so far. Gilles Marguet not the best of starts, but both Poiré and de Frasny, their 2 best performers, have gone clear. Lysenko has just, I think, thrown away his opportunity of taking the lead, although it will be close. 1 shot missed. 14 out of 15 so far for the Ukrainian. He's certainly, if he can keep that going, heading to a PB for the season. Rishenkov, early mistake in the prone position. Can he get all 5 this time? 41.10 the time he's trying to get inside. He's skiing very quickly indeed. And Belarus with a chance to retake the lead. They'll certainly do that. 39.47. He's going to be just around the 40-minute mark as Pouare settles alongside Thomas Globešnik of Slovenia. Now he has the range to himself. Here's the first miss. No mistake with the final four, but Pouare has got a little bit of time to catch up now. 25.48 Kochkin's time. Pouare will be in second despite the fact that he's missed the target. No sign of Frude Andrason. No sign yet of Ulе-Éinar Bjørndalen, who started at number 73. 8.3 seconds the margin. It's nothing. He can come back from there, but it gives Vincent de Frasne a chance to get his first win. He's had a third this year. He had a very close second to Рафаэль Пуаре in the mass start event in Oberhof. Kjelland again for Norway. Quite a narrow stance with his feet in the standing position. First to split the index and the second finger, many of them supporting the stock with the rifle with the first two fingers underneath by the magazine housing. Kjelland taking the alternative method and making it work for him. 5 out of 5, 26.09, 26.10. He's outside the top three, but it's still a good run from Kjelland. And with a long, long way to go, he could still find himself in the top 5 at the end of the day. Dag Bjørndalen in 6th place, having gone clear at this stage. He's going to have to continue to do that. Ulle-Éinar Bjørndalen now on the range for the first time, and the first target on his return has missed. I hope that doesn't signify what the rest of the season is going to be like for Ulle-Éinar. 4 out of 5. Just having a look at the trigger. Maybe we'll get to see that again. It looks as though he's got some new adaptation to that. We'll try and find out what it's all about and maybe get a close-up of that on his second standing shoot. The director here will certainly pick him up as he comes round for the second time. He's 33.9 seconds down with a target missed. Positions after the second shoot, it's still Mikhail Kochkin of Russia leading with 25.48. Matiasko of Slovakia in second place, having gone clear, and Dag Bjørndalen in third place, having gone clear, 39.1. Konovalov after 2, 56 seconds behind, but that shot on the standing shoot has cost him, and these two on the prone have pretty much put him out of contention. Matiasko, though, has gone through the third time, and he's clear, 11 seconds ahead of Roshenkov of Belarus. Roshenkov missing on his very first shoot of the day. But this is a good run from Matiasko. Certainly wouldn't have put any money on him winning earlier in the day. So down towards the end of the starting list, and it's Tor Halvor Bjornstad, who we haven't seen a huge amount of so far this year. His first race, the individual in Åsbli, seems an age ago now, finished 46th, missed 3 targets on the prone, so Bjornstad is going to have to produce and improve on his previous best. William Blaj. Alongside Vesa Hayatalahti, the best of the Finns. Hayatalahti starting a couple of minutes after Ulе-Éinar Björndalen, in now for his first shoot, and taking a long time to settle for the first shot. That's cost him 5 or 6 seconds extra. So Hayatalahti has obviously seen how the race is developing. He will have seen Pуаре miss targets. He's seen the likes of Björndalen miss targets. And I wonder whether he's decided that the best tactic now is just to give yourself an extra 5 or 6 seconds preparation for each of the shoots, and then make sure he's 24 seconds down. But if he can keep that perfect shooting going, then Hayatalahti is going to be on the podium at the end of the day. Still a long way to go. He's cleared 5. He's got another 15 to go as Andreas Stitzel of Germany starts. Name we haven't seen before. First World Cup for Stitzel. And I wonder how he'll take to it. Will the nerves get to these young Germans who've got their first taste of World Cup action? In most other countries, they'd find themselves in the A-team regularly on the World Cup tour. The Olympic individual champion on the top right-hand side of your screen, Harald Hannebold. Oleg Maluhin has gone well. It's a positive start for him, 25.48. Not a bad time. He's outside Kochkin's time. 25.56 for Рафаэль Пуаре, but remember Pуаре missing 1 target, so Maluhin losing a full minute skiing-wise to Pуаре, but still up with him with the overall time, just 1 second behind the Frenchman and into the top 3. Well, is today's race going to be won by a clear shoot? It doesn't happen that often. Frasne and Pуаре, the 2 leaders after the first shoot. Pуаre in second place after the second shoot. We're still waiting for Vincent de Frasne to come through. The crowd have done well to turn out, especially when you consider how many of the top skiers are absent from today's race. The likes of Rostovcев and the number 1 and number 2 in the world so far this year. Rico Gros, who lies 5th in the World Cup at the moment, is absent, along with his teammates Sven Fisher and Peter Sendel, also absent, the man who got the call-up finally for the German team. Dag Björndalen going well so far. This is crucial. Over to the right-hand side of the screen, then he hits the 1 second from the right before heading over to the left-hand side of the screen. Plenty of movement in between each shot. Well, that's obviously the way to do it. And I wonder whether he feels that if you do move a long way in between each shot, then you actually resettle and you re-centralize the aim, as opposed to just forcing it across with a little bit of muscular movement. It's got him to within 19 seconds of the lead. Roshenkov of Belarus are still out there in front, but Dag Björndalen will be getting a little bit excited now. I wonder if he can just keep his composure over the final shoot. It would be a popular result for him and the Norwegian team. Not so often he gets the better of his brother. He's already 1 target better than Ulе-Éinar, with Ule-Éinar just through the first shoot so far. Whatever Dag Björndalen can do, Kochkin can do better. 38.50. This is a very quick time indeed. He's just around 40 seconds inside that time by Björndalen. 51 seconds, in fact. Kochkin takes the lead for Russia, and that could be on the way to his first victory. What a turn-up that would be. Frude Andrason already missed 3, 39.44. He's not so far off the top 3 places. That's another good shot. Come on, clear the 5. It's got to happen occasionally, and it's happened now. Anderson's gone clear. He's kept himself in with a chance of finishing in the top 3. Surely he can't win with 3 misses, but he's certainly fast enough to finish in the top 3 to 5 positions, but he must go clear on that second stand. 1:17, the margin behind. He's almost gained 2 minutes on the leaders at the moment. It's astounding stuff. His cardiovascular qualities just seem to get better and better as the years go by. It's a shame the same hasn't happened to his shooting. Now, the French certainly seem to have learned how to ski from the Norwegians. I wonder why the Norwegian men have failed to improve on their shooting ability. Not so sure it's technique. I think it's all mentality. And the longer their history goes on of being poor in the range, the harder it is to beat it. Not a good final shoot from Günter Beck of Austria. Dmitry Borovic of Estonia settling for his final shoot. And after a shaky start, he's going well. 55.22 is under threat. That's a very good finish from the Estonian. He'll live to regret those 2 misses early on in this race, but that's all history now. It's happened, and all he's got to do is turn up the pace for the last 4 kilometers as he works his way round to the finish line. 54.44, a lead of 37.8 seconds. It's not going to win him the day's race, but it's certainly going to be good enough to give him a good start in the pursuit on Sunday. Thomas Sikora. Not the sort of form we'd expect from a former world champion, and he doesn't quite understand it either. It was good up to that stage. 3 minutes added. Take 3 minutes off there. 54.40 would have been a very good time indeed. So that's a shame for Thomas, just losing his concentration on the last shoot. I'm not sure why he wants to see the screen. He knows exactly how many he missed, and he knows that at this level he is not going to be competitive with a total of 4 minutes added to his time. Rishenkov, who's gone well so far, still lying in the top 5 places after 3 shoots. He's going to be struggling to hold that position now. Oh, so rapid, perhaps a little bit too quick on the first shot. 53.49, he's going to be inside Borovic's time, but Rishenkov could have won with 1 miss. He's not going to win with 2. 46 seconds inside Borovic's time. Pokluka now of Slovenia pushed down to 3rd. Now Pouare. And he'll get a little bit of a ribbing from his wife, who won yesterday's events. He's missed 2, still got another shoot to go. Let's have a look at the time. 39.56. He's 1 minute outside, so skiing at just a minute faster than Matiasco, who at that stage was clear. And the French may have to turn their attention to Vincent de Frasner, who's started pretty well. In fact, having said that, de Frasner has gone and missed 2 on his second shoot, which is why we haven't seen him. He's gone in and out of the range unnoticed. Ulе-Éinar Bjørndalen, or is it Dag Bjørndalen? They're looking too similar at the moment. It's Ule-Éinar, and 5 out of 5 on his standing. That is much better. That's kept him in contention. In fact, it's done a lot better than that. He's going to be just under a minute ahead of Mikhail Kochkin of Russia. He's way ahead of Рафаэль Пуаре, who has missed another target. So is he heading for victory on his return? What a dramatic return to form that would be. And everyone would have to start taking him seriously again. The Norwegians almost trying to persuade him to give up biathlon and just do the pure cross-country skiing. They failed. He's come back, and it's a very good first half to his race. Bjorndalen leading the way. Frode Andresen in 8th after the third shoot. Egil Hjelland is going to be down outside the top 8, but ahead of Thomas Sikora of Poland. So 3 Norwegians in the top 10 positions. So there you have confirmation of the top 8 after the third shoot. Kochkin looking for a personal best. This is certainly the time to do it, with so many of the world's best absent from the race. But he won't mind. 30 to 50 points on the World Cup is 30 to 50 points. No one can take that away from him. The prize money will also go nicely towards his continued expenses on the World Cup tour. 1,500 euros up for grabs today. Let's now, can Matiasko go clear? Big moment for this man. He knows that tempting fate again. The commentator's curse. Really would have been nice to see him go clear. Just looking through his records, can't see any evidence that he's done it before, and that's a massive disappointment. It's such a boost when all 20 go down. 19 out of 20 is good though, but Matiasko knows that a chance of a podium finish has pretty much gone with that first shot on the second of the standing shoots. 54, he's got a 14-second lead over, well, he's 14 seconds behind Roshenkov, in fact, and he's slower than Roshenkov, so I can't see Matiasko overhauling that difference. Although when he finds himself in the position, he'll get the information in the next 30 seconds or so. Maybe that will be enough for him to find some hidden reserves. Another 4,000 meters to go. You can see how the central part of the course is been smoothed out by all the previous runners. 4 times round the same 4-kilometer loop. In fact, it's 5 times round, so in all 520 skiers going over the tracks by the end of the race, and the conditions may well in fact be quicker for those who started later. The snowfall has dropped off. Vesa Hayatolahti, potential winner here today. 25-18 season outside Ulе-Éinar Bjёrndalen's time. But I think Hayatolahti, if he knew that, would be thinking, well, Ulе-Éinar, he'll miss something in the last 2 shoots, and that will give him a chance. So he's solid so far, clear at the halfway stage, and Vesa Hayatolahti, who's one of very few men to have won World Cups this year, has made a very positive start. Stitzel of Germany, his introduction to the World Cup scene, and that's just about what he wanted. Not quite as quick as the big men, but 26 seconds outside the leaders. That's encouraging stuff. He's seen it, and a little smile growing across his face. He's got all the information he needs, and it's just turning up the pace. Looks a very strong skier indeed. Member of the Fritz Fischer camp, who do all their training in Ruhpolding, summer and winter. And he's developing that physique that is so familiar amongst the German biathletes. A little heavier, a little more powerful than the Scandinavians and the French. you see Vincent de Frasnay, 2 misses on his first standing shoot, and he's outside the top 20. We'll try and pick up on his progress after the 3rd shoot. I can tell you that Mikhail Kochkin is still up there and going very well. Really all hinges on Ulе-Éinar Bjåndalen when he comes in for that 3rd pro, and if he can build himself a margin of around 2 minutes, which is quite possible should he go clear, then it's going to seem unlikely that anyone else is going to catch him. The Luhin 40.21, Fred Andersen's time 40.12. Only 4 men clear after the first 3 shoots. It's Kochkin, Globocnik, Matiasko, who we know has missed on his final standing shoot, and Dag Bjåndalen still clear, starting number 29, and should be in the next couple of minutes to complete his shooting for the day. Just had a message in from Zico Zichev. Hope that's how you pronounce your name, Zico. Just asking who the most successful biathletes of all time are. Well, it's the modern day biathlete who notch up the greatest number of victories. You'll know all about Magdalena Forsberg, 40 wins to her name now. And on the men's tour, well, if you take the relays into account, Sven Fishер is the most successful with a total of 35 wins. And Ule-Éinar Bjåndalen in 2nd place, just behind him. The Norwegians not picking up quite so many relay victories as the Germans. And the reason that the modern day biathlete notching up more victories largely due to the fact that they have more races. In the old days it was just the individual, the sprint and the relay, and nowadays of course the pursuits, the mass starts as well. The season is that little bit longer. Now, Dag Bjåndalen, one of 4 men clear after 3 shoots. Can he keep that record going? If he believes in it, it will go down. And it does, so he's gone clear. That is just what the Norwegian camp ordered. 53.42. He's roughly the same time as Rishenkov, who has gone out with 1 missed target in the first shoot. He missed again on the second, so Rishenkov very much the quicker skier, and he's only got 5.3 seconds in hand. I'm not sure that Bjåndalen is going to hold on to that, but he must have had a massive boost from the fact that he's gone 20 with 20, and certainly going to produce his best run of the season, and the Norwegians cannot ignore him now. Mezotich, just 1 target missed, and he's come out and absolutely destroyed Bjåndalen's time. 1 minute 12 inside. Frode Andresen, another 2 misses, 5 minutes added to his time. He's only 2 minutes behind. He's going to be up in the top 10, maybe 15, and he'll keep his position in the top 10 of the overall World Cup. But he's never, ever going to win with 5 misses in an individual. Extraordinary stuff for the Norwegians. They're good skiers, are skiing better than ever. They're good marksmen, are shooting better than ever, but they can't get the 2 combined. Pekluka, 4 minutes inside the previous best of Zhang, but Pekluka a very early starter today. I was just talking about the most successful biathletes in history, and just saying that they do race more than they used to in the past, and hence it is easier to notch up more victories in your career. But also the fact that there's more money in the game now has kept them on the circuit for longer and longer. A career spanning 10, 12, even 13, 14 years, not unusual. And the likes of Sven Fischer's been around for an age. Forsberg, 6 seasons, in fact giving up next year. So from 4 men clear after 3 shoots, we now only have 1 clear after 4. But Dag Bjorndalen not quick enough to take the win. He's trailing the leader Mezotich at that stage by 1 minute and 12 seconds. Mikhail Kochkin of Russia has gone through. He missed one on his last shoot. That's a disappointment because Kochkin would have been a comfortable winner. But he's not too far off the pace set by Mezotich. So it's going to be a good race between the Russians and the Austrians. But I think Mezotich may just win that one for Austria. All the Austrians skiing well. Rishenkov comes through, 43 seconds, his lead over Borovic of Estonia. It's good, but I don't think that is good enough. 1:06.20. Look at the time. Remember, the last individual race won in 45 minutes. They're 11 minutes slower today. The altitude, the snow, all playing their part. It's not the conditions in the range that have done it. And that must have been Ulе-Éinar Bjåndalen as opposed to Dag Bjorndalen. Now, can Рафаэль Пуаре recover something from this race, which by his standards is somewhat indifferent? A clear shoot would put him in a good position. For 52.39, the time he's after. Oh, it would have been close. He would have come out just 5 seconds off the lead set by Mezotich, but that final shot has missed. He rushed it, pulled it high right, and Poiret has found himself, with instead of 2 seconds to make up, he's got 1 minute and 2 seconds, and he's not going to achieve that over the 4-kilometer distance. Ulle-Éinar Bjorndalen. Oh. So another 2 minutes, and it's looking as though he's going to go the way of Frode Andresen. 39.11. It was looking so promising at the halfway stage. Kochkin will be delighted when he hears that. 19.9 seconds outside. It's staggering how he can keep that sort of pace going. And if Bjorndalen goes clear on the last shoot, then he still has a chance of taking victory here. Globishnik goes clear, the second man to clear all 20 today. 19 seconds outside. It's going to be a mad sprint for the finish with 4 men within a minute at the 16-kilometer stage. Another 4,000 meters to go. Kjelland. 53.02. So he's still got a chance of finishing in the top 5. And do remember that today's finishing time determines your start position in the pursuit event. But Kjelland, like Рафаэль Пуаре, has rushed the final shot, and instead of coming out with a competitive time, he finds himself over 1.5 minutes behind the leaders. 1:52 the margin. Kjelland now will be desperately trying to scramble back a few seconds to get himself in a competitive position for Sunday's race. Message in from John Lavender wanting to know exactly what all these biathletes do for a living. Well, many of them, as you suggested, are members of the armed forces, but Chinese, Russians, Germans, and in fact the British team, all soldiers. Many of the teams have policemen, border guards, firemen, the former Eastern countries with PE teachers amongst their ranks. And all the Norwegians seem to be students still, despite the fact that they're 27, 28, the eternal student. But they're fairly well supported by the state and their Olympic organisations. And provided they stay up in the top rankings of the world, then they maintain that funding. Bjornstad, not an encouraging start for him. Strong skier, but shake of the head telling you exactly what he thinks of those 3 misses. That's easy enough to do, but at this level should never ever be the case in these conditions where visibility is fine, it hasn't changed all day, the temperature has stayed constant, there is no wind, and really the conditions don't get much easier unless you take the tracks down to sea level and change the approach into the range from an uphill one into a downhill one. Well, at some stage we're going to have to switch to the finish to see who is going to claim that top prize. Danیēl Mezotich of Austria in a very strong position. He's gone through all 4 shoots and has missed just 1 target. Yannis Prance, could he be a contender? He's outside the top 5. He's going to have too much time to make up, and with that extra minute added, he's way down now. That's a shame for Prance. He's not the only one to have missed on the last shoot. All a question of confidence. Feza Hayatolahti now. A chance for him if he goes clear to... Oh. How many times does it happen? Hayatolahti missing that 4th one, and 39.40 pushing him out of the top 3. He's still in touch with Mezotich, who, remember, is leading after the 4th shoot. So Hayatolahti still with a chance. He's in the running, so is Ulе-Éinar Bjåndalen. I'm not sure that Рафаэль Пуаре is in the running any longer. He's missed 3 today. Frude Andrason, wow, 32 seconds down. This is unbelievable stuff. He's clawing back the time. Well, that margin has grown to 1:22. Mezotich still leading, 19 out of 20 shots hit. Frude Andrason, 15 out of 20, so 4 minutes difference in the penalties, only 1 minute 20 difference as far as their ski time going, so 2 minutes 40 gained by Andrason. He's absolutely flying, but it's not going to give him his first victory of the season. Austria have already won with Christoph Suman, who's not featured in today's race. Well, the Austrian team getting somewhat excited. They'd love to see Mezotich come home with a victory. It is certainly possible, but it's going to depend on the likes of Ulе-Éinar Bjåndalen, who still has 1 shoot remaining. Feza Hayatolahti, I think he's still in the running. We'll get a better indication of that when he comes in for his 4th and final shoot. Halvard Hannevold, 1:46 off the leaders, and he's not going to catch Mezotich. Very distinct style that Hannevold has. But if you watch him from the side of the tracks, you see how much ground he gains with every stride. Instead of bringing the feet together, he just drives his feet forward and gains 4 or 5 inches every time he puts the foot down. But it's not the easiest technique on the eye. It's not that efficient. And you have to feel that improvements could be made. But he's skied like that for the last 10, 11 years. And I think perhaps it's too late to change. Kyoji Suga, the veteran of the Japanese team, been around for many years now. And it's not a bad time so far, 38.55 the leading time. Now, if Suga can clear all the targets, he could be in for top 10. Fred Anderson with not too far to go now. Here is the man, though, chasing him down. It looks like Mezotich right on his heels. He's taken a lot of time off Mezotich on this final loop, but Anderson with too much work to do. He may well take the lead when he comes across the line. It's going to be close. Mezotich, though, a minute 20 ahead at the last count, and he's going to stay over a minute ahead. Anderson 106.49, 106.50. No, Roshenkov is still safe there in first place. Anderson's 5 penalties costing him dearly. It's probably another top 10 finish, but Mezotich is the man to watch. 121 ahead of Roshenkov. He's only missed 1 target today. Roshenkov missing 2. Now, is that a winning run? Well, we'll find out soon enough. Mikhail Kochkin, 45 seconds down. He misses the same number of targets as Mezotich. He had a slight deficit when he came out of the range for the last time, and has lost another 30-odd seconds. So Mezotich has turned it up. Kochkin expending most of his energy on the first 16 kilometers of this race. But all the same, it's a good run from the Russian. And the time margin's huge again. Remember, when they decide the start positions for the pursuit event, they cut the time difference by a half. So if you're a minute behind in the individual, you'll start 30 seconds behind, whereas the sprint is untouched. The margin behind is the margin you start behind on the following event. And I think they could almost divide the individual score by half. It's the margins seem to be so much bigger because of the harsher shooting penalties. Now, we've seen Bjorndalen go clear. We know Globishnik has gone clear, and he's 49 seconds down. He's challenging for a top 3. Just while we're waiting for the big names to come in for their final shoot, a couple of emails wanting to know who the previous best women on the World Cup Tour were before Magdalena Forsberg switched from cross-country to biathlon. And I promised you yesterday I'd get you the information. It was the French who dominated the couple of years before Forsberg appears. Emmanuel Claret winning the World Cup in 1996, and here's the man who's taken the top spot for the French team for 3 seasons now, Рафаэль Пуаре. Anne Briand won the World Cup in 95. Prior to that, it was the Russians and Belarusians, the likes of Svetlana Paramagina and Anfisa Retseva of Russia, who won the Tour 92-93. But ever since 96, there's only been 1 name on the trophy, and at the moment, Magdalena Forsberg still leading the women's tour, despite the fact that she isn't here today. And she'll be delighted. Well, I don't think she'll be delighted, but she'll be a little bit relieved, should we say, that Elena Zabrilova didn't have the best of skis yesterday and gained no ground in the World Cup standings at all. And that means that Magdalena Forsberg will keep the yellow bib beyond this meeting here in Antholz, despite the fact that she's not here. Poiret could well be in the yellow bib at the end of this week, but he's going to have to finish in the top 5 today. Has he done enough? 106.07 the time he's after. He's looking to go ahead of Roshenkov. It could be valuable points for the Frenchman. Another couple of meters to go for Poiret. 106.20. He's just going to miss it, and he goes... or does he? Yes, just outside, 0.1 of a second. Oh, that could be important at the end of the season. Roshenkov stays 3rd, Poiret down to 4th, and still a couple of men out there who could push him down outside the top 5. And if that is the case, then Rostovcев may well hold on to his yellow bib, despite the fact that he's not here. 77 points between Rostovcев and Pouare at the beginning of today. A win worth 50 points. 46 for second, 43 for third. And dropping down until you get 1 for 30th position. Globishnik deserves a good race, having gone clear, and 1:05.44. He's going to be inside Poiret's time, so the top 3 will change again. Oleg Rashenkov of Belarusia is going to miss out on a podium place. Globishnik coming in, he's going to be just under the 1:06 marker, 57 seconds off the lead, but his best run of the season, and may well be worth a top 3. Well, he's worked his back off to get there in under 1:56. It will be just a couple of seconds before he recovers, 30 seconds or so to fill the lungs and the blood system with oxygen again, and he'll feel fine. Egil Kjelland, 1:06.51. He's that's not bad. 1:55 behind, 3 missed targets, so he's skied a good minute faster than Mezotich. I'm not sure the starting position has had too much effect on the results today. There have been races where it's had a dire effect. The very first meeting of the season, Hogfilsen, an early starter, was almost certain of finishing in the top 20 as the tracks got slower and slower. Dag Bjørndalen down to 10th now, 2:13 off the lead, and he's going to be outside the top 10, and he's going to start at least a minute 5 behind the leaders on Sunday, but it's still a good result. 20 from 20, and only 2 men so far have achieved that today. Neither of them are going to win this race. Lamar Brisis down in 29th position. Reni Katranusi, multiple medalist at World Championship level, but 5 targets missed in all, and there's something funny going on here. I did notice, incidentally, that Katja Beer, who we followed yesterday in the women's individual, was not included on the results sheet. Surely she should just stop and start again. So Katranusi in all sorts of bother. He got his hand inside the sling. Looks as though the elastic on the sling that pulls it back in line with the stock. And as I was saying, Katja Beer not on the result sheet. She was actually disqualified. If you were with us, you would have seen she had mechanical problems, and she signalled to her team that she needed the spare rifle. That is fair enough. But as she made her way back across the range, she still had a round in the barrel. Although it wasn't properly loaded, it was in the barrel. And then she was trying to show her coach what was going on, and in the process pointed the rifle back down the range. But of course she was a long way back from the firing point, and she was disqualified for insecurity in the range area. Just dangerous procedures, and that's something that they're very strict on here. And she didn't get away with it, and so her Olympic hopes dying with that careless mistake. Although you have to say she was a little unlucky to suffer mechanical problems in the most crucial race of her career. But she's young, she'll be back, and she'll have learned from that experience. Sasso Graf, are we going to see a third man clear? No is the answer to that. Fairly short, sharp terms. Graf throwing his 11th shot wide and his 13th. And from what was a pretty promising situation, he suddenly finds himself outside the top 30 in the world, and he's not even going to salvage any World Cup points for his efforts today. So his spirits have taken a sudden fall. He has a look at the coach to say what the hell went on there. He'll get some information on the course, but all too late. 3 targets missed, 3 minutes added to his time, and at his level of skiing, he can't afford that. Well, a good opening race to Stitzel's World Cup career. How's the time? 40.07, just a fraction slower than Dag Bjørndalen. In fact, that's his overall time, skiing at roughly the same speed as Dag Bjørndalen. So Stitzel, not the quickest man on the tour, but he's young. And the Germans tend to come to their best around 26, 27, and they stay on their best form until their early 30s. Average age of the German relay team now 30. Two Norwegians on the range together. I've got Hannevold nearest us, and a man who's made quite an impression on the tour, Stian Ekhoff. His shooting has been his strong point. And that's a shame. 53.58 would have been a very good time indeed. But Ekhoff is regularly finishing in the top 20 now. It's not long before he's going to be the number 2 or 3 in the Norwegian team. Will he get a place in the Norwegian relay? I have a feeling he will, despite that final miss, which indicates his inexperience. But having said that, Рафаэль Пуаре missing his 20th shot today as well, and losing his chance of finishing in the top 3 as a result. He'll be furious with that lapse in concentration. It's not over quite yet, still a few to come in. Maluhin has produced a good run. And it is noticeable that the Slovakians, the Ukrainians, the Belarusians starting to improve their form. Kyoji Sugar, how's he getting on? 2 misses so far. Needs to go clear here, but skiing time is good for Sugar. He's been in the top 10 of the World Cup before, but that has pushed him outside, I think. Yes, it has. So 1 miss for Sugar, 54.16. He's going to be around the same time as Yanis Prants of Estonia. Top 10 would be good, but he'll be painfully aware that 10 of the top 20 in the world aren't racing, and realistically a top 10 here is would usually be 18, 19, even 20th. So here comes Ulе-Éinar Bjørndalen, and apologies for missing his final shoot. 35.3 seconds off the lead, despite that he's missed 5. Now he's missed exactly the same number of targets as Frode Andresen, and this is a good opportunity to see which of those two is the quicker. He's got 35 seconds to make up, and surely he can't make it. He's quick, he's very quick, but he's already expended most of his energy with a very quick 4th lap, and can he make up that sort of margin? Well, remember, he is ranked as the 2nd best freestyle skier in the world, behind Per Elofsson of Sweden. 1:04.58.7, the time that Ulе-Éinar Bjørndalen is after, and the margin between 1st and 2nd, 45 seconds. So Ule-Éinar almost certainly going to finish in the top 2 today, but it would be extraordinary, and I think, although I'm not absolutely sure about this, I think it would be a new record if he was to win a World Cup individual 20 kilometre with 5 missed targets. Bjørndalen has already beaten the record this year for the most missed targets in a World Cup win, but that was in the first pursuit event of the season, where he missed 6 and still came home in first place. But he started with a minute's advantage on that occasion. And I would bet my bottom dollar that no one has achieved an individual win with 5 misses, and I'm not sure it's going to happen to Bjørndalen. He's running out of time as he approaches the road that goes just past the stadium. He's got to go under that and then brake left and up into the stadium area. Well, he's still got the tempo going. Done a lot of training on these tracks, so the altitude won't be any problem to Ulе-Éinar Bjørndalen. Mezotich, though, you'll remember from the pictures of him finishing this race, he wasn't hanging around, and most of the uphill sections have gone, and that's where Bjørndalen would have gained the time. He's going to get close. He'll get within 30 seconds of the lead, but I'm absolutely certain that he's not going to overhaul Mezotich, who's currently leading here in Antholz Anterselva, a time of 1:04.58, 1:04.40. Oh, he's close, but he's outside. Still got another 8 seconds to get inside, but he's got over 150 meters to go, and Bjørndalen, fast as he is not going to close that distance down, but it's a tremendous run. 1:05.43 is now the time that he's after, and he's going to be well inside Kochkin's time of Russia. So for the second time this year, it looks like an Austrian victory. Suman has done it, and now Mezotich has achieved a win. But we'll wait a couple of minutes before we can confirm that, because still the likes of Haytalati and Halvard Hannevold. Hannevold's not going to win this one. 21 seconds, so he's gained 14 seconds over the last kilometre. That's some effort, and he certainly deserves a podium finish. But one more shot and he would have been comfortable winner here. Now, how long can he afford to go on working that hard? He's got himself a good start position for Sunday's pursuit, and that could bring him back to winning ways. Not a pretty sight, is it? And I've always thought that that indicates that his lungs aren't on the best of form. Don't let it put you off a little bit of hard activity. Well, there you see the standings. 21 seconds the difference between first and second. 4 targets the difference. So Bjørndalen gaining 3 minutes 38.9 seconds on Daniel Mezotich of Austria. But Mezotich won't mind. He's the man at the top. He's the man that's going to take the bulk of the prize money today, and he'll take the 50 points, which will certainly improve his World Cup ranking, but he's outside the top 20. So it's pretty insignificant as far as the World Cup battle goes. Bjørndalen's second place is not insignificant. He will start to close the gap. And remember, at the end of the season, they deduct the worst 3 results. Well, it was always a possibility that someone new would win here, and that looks as though it is going to be what happens, with Austria's Mezotich leading the way. Now, if you have a look at his other results from this year, he started off with a 58th and a 25th in the Hochfilzen, his home event. Then 44th and 28th in Pokluka. First signs that he wasn't bad was in Orsbly, in fact, when he came in 11th in what was the second individual race over this distance, the 20 kilometre. he achieved that in Orsby. So there were signs that Mezotich had potential, and he's looked very, very quick all season. But then again, so have all the Austrians, likes of Perner, Suman, Rotman and Gredler. Speed is not a problem for them. It's the accuracy and the range. And Mezotich, shooting 19 out of 20, has pretty much secured his first ever World Cup win. And I can't tell you that much more about him. He doesn't even qualify to get into the Austrian handbook of biathletes. But he'll be there next year, that's for sure, as he joins a fairly elite club of Austrians that have won World Cup races. And Austria will be delighted now to have a fifth member of their squad, fifth man to choose from. Perner, Rotman, Suman, we've mentioned already. And Gunther Beck, the other man who's usually the replacement, along with Ludwig Gredler, who's been around for many, many years now, 34 years of age, Gredler. So here are the latest starters coming through. Number 77, Vesa Hayatolahti, working his way to the end. We haven't seen too much from Hayatolahti so far. Hayatolahti's score after his final shoot not registering on the computer as yet, but he was going well. He was looking set for a top 5 position. Just skiing along behind Andreas Stitzel of Germany, who still has one shoot to go. So just about 5 kilometers to go for the young German. Hayatolahti is heading for home. He's got less than 500 meters before his day's work is done and dusted. Paavo Purinen, of course, the world champion in this discipline, won that title in Pekluka. That was one of the shock results from the World Championships last year. But biathlon, as always, showing up one surprise after another, and we just wonder who it is going to be at the Olympic Games this year. Pore must get medals. Ulе-Éinar Björndalen, well, I'd be amazed if he didn't get one medal. Will he retain his Olympic title in the sprint event? He certainly looks the most likely of the Norwegians to take a slice of glory from these Winter Olympics. Vesa Hayatolahti, well, with his shooting so far this year, you'd count on him to produce something. But today, those 2 misses on the final standing shoot have cost him dearly. Take 2 minutes off that time, and you can see that he would have been in the top 3. But 1:07.32, it's going to be around 1:07.40, maybe a little under that, 1:07.35. And Hayatolahti outside the top 10. That's only the second time this year that has happened. 14th place, he'll pick up a few World Cup points and keep himself in the top 10 of the world. Poor finish then to Stitzel, who's obviously unable to block the occasion out of his mind. Well, that's all part of the game. And he was probably just thinking, my goodness, if I can clear all these targets, he'll would have found himself within a minute of the lead. And as well as having a new Austrian on the podium, we could have had Stitzel there as well, because 40 seconds would have put him inside the 4th position. Currently held by Mikhail, well, 3rd position, Mikhail Kochkin, and it looks as though those two misses have enabled Kochkin to stay in the top 3 for the first time. So lots of new names at the top of the leaderboard on today's race. There's no saying that they wouldn't have made it anyway, but the fact that so many of the world's best are absent, they'll take these results with a pinch of salt, but they'll gratefully receive the World Cup points, which will help them pick up some sponsorship in months and years to come. And no doubt they'll enjoy the little bit of spending money they get from their efforts today. Well, the main story, Danιέλ Mezotich of Austria securing his first ever win ahead of Norway's Ulе-Éinar Bьёrndalен, who's finished just behind despite the fact that he has missed 5 targets. So that just about completes our coverage from the events in Antholz today. Do remember that we've got another 3 days of racing to come as Kyoji Suga of Japan comes in after what was a good start. He let it slip a little on his final 2 targets, but Suga certainly is still top 15 potential. It's happened today. If he can just hit 20, then who knows? He's skiing fast enough to finish in the top 5. He'll enjoy his race on Sunday with a good start. He'll be just 45 seconds or so behind the leaders, and it's going to be Mezotich that starts the pursuit first on Sunday. So just to recap, we've got the relays on Friday, Saturday, and then 2 pursuit events on Sunday. I hope you'll join us for that. The snow keeps falling here in Antholz, and the conditions will be ideal for the next 3 days of racing. So thanks for your company. Join us again tomorrow for the relays if you can. It's the women in action again. We'll see you then. Goodbye for now.